Well, now that we've parked in some glass next to a place that does not have gas, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Clubman Bars here. So I've had the Clubman Bars now for about a week, 2 weeks maybe. I've been doing quite a bit of riding. I think I've done at least 100 miles, maybe 200 miles on these bars. My biggest thing with it, the cafe bars on a Sportster, is that there really isn't anywhere for your legs to grip. So when I'm riding, usually when you're hunched over like sport bike position, you don't want to put all of your weight on the bars. Putting on the weight on the bars can have a lot of bad side effects. It's extremely uncomfortable and it's very hard on your wrists. So your natural instinct is to either want to lean up, which is hard on your back, or trying to grip with your legs. So when you go to grip with your legs, there's really nothing. I mean, I have engine, which obviously you don't want to touch, and tank, which I don't have much of. So it just leaves me this really awkward position trying to squeeze this very tiny tank while trying to take your weight off of the bars. It rides a lot more like a sport bike, but it's hard for this bike being as heavy as it is. You feel all of its weight. As I'm going through the corners and the turns and I let off of the gas or I get on the gas, I could definitely feel the weight shifting back and forth more so than I did before. And I believe that has a lot to do with me putting all of my weight on the bars, and I'm trying not to do that, but it's hard, like I said, when you don't really have anywhere to grip. These are the bars I got. I think they're from Alpha Moto or Moto Alpha or something like that off of Amazon. They're a little bit long. They stick out a little bit more than I might like them to, but to be honest, I feel like they're pretty comfortable. They really aren't that bad. You're not super hunched over or anything. It's really just the way the Sportster is. Now, granted, you may have a different seat, whether you're higher up or lower up. Chances are you're going to be a little bit lower. I have a very thick seat and longer shocks. And I tried installing some passenger pegs back on there, and I put them on there. So my thought was that while I'm riding, especially on freeways, I could just, before I get on the freeway, just kick this out, and I'd be in a slightly more sport bike position. But that would leave my leg, when I'm on the bike, even more so lower with nowhere to really grip. I think I've been riding maybe for about 30 minutes and my wrists are killing me. And it could be 100% that I'm not used to riding a sport bike. I used to ride a sport bike, and I know when you grip with your legs, you can relieve a lot of that tension off your wrists. So if you yourself, the viewer right now, are looking to get cafe or Clubman style handlebars for your Sportster, definitely rethink it. The cool factor is there, but the cool factor versus the comfort scale is usually a black and white scale, I hate to say. If you're gonna be cool, you're not gonna have a lot of comfort. If you're gonna have more comfort, I guess depending on who you're talking to, you might not be cool. I used to feel like my little pullback bars are a little grandpa-ish, you know what I mean? Like a little old school. They weren't hip enough for the kids, you know what I mean? Kids these days, they like all that cool fast stuff. And this thing is not fast whatsoever. Definitely not gonna keep trying to fool myself with the illusion that this thing is fast. If you really want to try it out yourself, it's $30 for the 1-inch bars on Amazon. You're really not losing much. Yeah, you might have to get different cables. If you have stock handlebars, it'll probably work with the cables that you have. The pros, I guess, is that they look cool. They put you in a more sport bike position if that's what you're looking for. The cons, not terribly comfortable. And if you have min controls, it puts you in a really awkward position on the bike. You don't really have anywhere to grip with your legs. Overall, I think I'm gonna give them like a 6 out of 10. You can try them if you want, but as many have recommended to me that they would be uncomfortable, I also heed that warning to you that they are fairly uncomfortable. Sticking with what you got is gonna work just fine. Alright, let's go. I'm gonna go back towards town. I'm not gonna take the same road back, because although that road is fun, like I've said, it's just these handlebars are just not as good with the twisties, way that I can't grip the fucking tank, mate. Now I've kind of entertained the thought of trying to put a sport bike tank on the Sportster and somehow modifying it so that it would fit on the Sportster, and to be totally honest, I'm really not sure.